Before I tell you how my life completely exploded, I want to clarify that I've hidden everyone's real names so my ex-bestie doesn't track me, Clara said, staring straight into the camera. Hi, I'm Clara, and my childhood friend, Brenda, has a severe case of main character syndrome. But she's incredibly dramatic, and for years, I just rolled with it. Their lifelong rivalry started in elementary school during a charity bake sale. Brenda had spent all weekend with her mom making lopsided, neon pink cupcakes covered in store-bought sprinkles. She marched up to Clara's table and smirked, "Step aside, Clara. The principal just bought one of my cupcakes and said the frosting was an artistic triumph. Face it, I'm a culinary prodigy." But a few minutes later, the head judge of the bake sale, a local bakery owner, tasted Clara's homemade, 5-layer vanilla bean sponge cake. The judge literally gasped, clutched his chest, and yelled to the crowd, "Oh my heavens! This is the most delicate, perfectly balanced pastry I have tasted in my 30 years of baking." The judge handed Clara a golden trophy and a crisp $50 bill. Brenda's face twisted into pure rage. She stamped her foot and screamed at the judge, "It's just flour and sugar. Are you blind?" On the walk home, Clara felt bad for Brenda, so she used her prize money to buy Brenda a giant box of gourmet macarons, her absolute favorite. Brenda snatched the box, glared at it, and hissed, "Your cake was basic. Mine had personality. You're just trying to humiliation flex on me. Take your pity cookies back." She threw the box into a drainage ditch and stormed away. Because of her big win, Clara was invited to an exclusive, 3-week summer culinary camp in New York City. Brenda threw a colossal tantrum and actually tried to block the camp bus by lying down in the middle of the school driveway. The camp was a dream come true, but Brenda called the camp director's office 20 times a day demanding to speak to Clara. On the final week, a major food magazine arrived to feature Clara. Brenda called the front desk screaming that it was a family emergency. She claimed Clara's brother Jax had glued his hands to an executive's desk and was going to jail. Terrified, Clara abandoned the magazine shoot and rushed home, only to find Jax peacefully eating cereal on the couch. Frustrated by the sabotage, Clara decided to just focus on regular high school life. On the first day of sophomore year, Brenda strutted down the hallway wearing massive sunglasses, pretending to dodge invisible paparazzi. "Look at them," whispering, Brenda smirked. "They are utterly paralyzed by my high-fashion energy." Suddenly, a boy carrying a leather portfolio turned the corner and collided with them. Brenda opened her mouth to scream, but stopped instantly. He was breathtakingly handsome, with intense green eyes and model-like features. "I am incredibly sorry," the boy said with a deep, sophisticated European accent. "I just moved here from Italy. My name is Julian, and I am from Milan." Brenda's brain completely melted. She panicked, threw her hands in the air, and started shouting random words she thought sounded European. "Milan, Ferrari, spaghetti paparazzi," she yelled, aggressively waving her arms like a broken windmill. Julian stared at her, completely frozen in sheer shock. Not wanting her best friend to die of embarrassment, Clara stepped in, mirrored the exact same ridiculous arm-waving gesture, and said, "Benvenuto, Milan." "Nice to meet you." Julian blinked, clutched his portfolio tightly, backed away like he had just seen 2 ghosts, and walked away as fast as his legs could carry him. "You ruined my romantic destiny with your weird hand choreography." Brenda screamed at Clara the second he was gone. For the next few years, Clara excelled at everything she touched, especially baking and chemistry. Brenda was always a few steps behind, constantly inventing bizarre conspiracy theories to explain it. "You only pass your science exams because your bedroom faces the cellular tower, which gives your brainwaves a faster data download." In freshman year of high school, a major food corporation announced a city-wide culinary invention contest with a $5,000 cash prize. Brenda hadn't turned on an oven since the bake sale incident, but the moment she heard about the money, she began hoarding baking supplies. Clara's family was broke, so Clara secretly entered her own recipe for a revolutionary, low-sugar pastry glaze. Clara lived with her older brother, Jax, who was 24 and a total walking disaster. Jax had been fired from every job he ever had, but he was currently over the moon because he had scored a gig as a low-level mailroom clerk at a massive luxury fashion conglomerate. The day before his first shift, Clara found Jax standing in the living room wearing a cheap, oversized tuxedo. He was practicing holding a silver platter, walking backward, and speaking in a terrible, fake British accent. "Jax, what are you doing?" Clara groaned. "You're a mail clerk, not a butler for the royal family." "I am manifesting my destiny, Clara," Jax shouted back, accidentally dropping a stack of letters into the fish tank. Tomorrow, I become the executive director of style. A week later, the home economics teacher burst into Clara's history class, looking completely frantic. Clara, you won the grand prize. The corporate executives are calling your glaze a scientific miracle. They want you on a conference call right now. Brenda immediately stood up, slamming her hands on her desk. No way, it's literally just liquid sugar. It's not like she discovered water on Mars. The teacher snapped. Brenda, stop being a bitter, jealous child. Clara, trying to protect Brenda from social death, quickly lied. Wait, teacher, she isn't mad. I think Brenda has a massive allergy flare-up. She's been sneezing uncontrollably all morning and it's affecting her oxygen levels. The entire class roared with laughter, and Brenda turned as red as a fire engine. Clara used the $5,000 prize money to buy medical equipment for her grandparents and a real, designer briefcase for Jax so he wouldn't look completely ridiculous at his job. With the last $100, Clara found a gorgeous midnight blue silk dress online that she wanted to wear to the school's winter gala. Brenda saw the web page open on Clara's laptop, scoffed, and said, "Blue is a total disaster on you. Your color is beige. Midnight blue belongs to me because it creates a striking contrast with my rare platinum blonde highlights. Brenda, your hair is dishwater blonde," Clara pointed out gently. "It is platinum when the lighting is fluorescent and the humidity is below 20%. Brenda yelled, "Just admit you want me to look like a peasant." Clara sighed and ordered the dress for Brenda instead. Meanwhile, Clara's brother Jax had taken his "fake it till you make it" attitude to a terrifyingly successful level. He had confidently walked into a high-level board meeting to deliver mail, completely misread the room, and accidentally delivered a fiery motivational speech using buzzwords he learned from business podcasts. The CEO thought he was an eccentric genius and promoted him to vice president of global trends. The family's financial problems vanished overnight. A month later, a fleet of luxury black SUVs pulled up to Clara's house, followed by 3 local television news vans. Brenda, who happened to be visiting, sprinted out the front door, immediately striking a model pose and fixing her hair for the cameras. A cameraman aggressively pushed right past Brenda, knocking her into a bush. "Move out of the shot, kid. We are looking for Clara, the winner of the International Culinary Chemistry Innovation Award. She has just been awarded a $500,000 research grant." Clara walked onto the porch, completely stunned. "I don't understand. I never submitted my research to any international boards." The crowd of reporters parted, and Julian stepped forward, wearing a flawless custom Italian suit, his green eyes sparkling under the news lights. "I submitted them, Clara," Julian said softly, his smooth accent carrying over the microphones. "I sent the watercolor notes you made during our lab. The international board said your formula will revolutionize food science. You are the most brilliant, beautiful girl I have ever met. Will you do me the honor of being my girlfriend?" Before Clara could speak, Brenda crawled out of the bush, pointing a dirty finger at Julian. "This is a violation of the Geneva Convention. Submitting paperwork without a triple certified notary is a crime. That's plagiarism and emotional distress." The reporters looked at Brenda like she was completely unhinged. "Kid, that's not how the law works," a news anchor muttered. "She's completely delusional. Ignore her." Clara looked at Julian, her heart racing with happiness, and smiled. "Yes, Julian, I would love to be your girlfriend." Julian beamed and stepped forward to pull her into a hug. Brenda instantly tried to ram herself like a human wedge between them. "Wait, what do we even know about this guy? He's probably an international fugitive." The lead financial reporter in the crowd raised his microphone. "Actually, that's Julian Vieri. His family owns the largest luxury fashion house and real estate empire in Europe. According to Forbes, his father is currently the 13th richest man in the world." Brenda's jaw dropped so low it practically unhinged. She began making strange, wheezing noises, clutching her forehead. "The 13th richest in the world? Quick, someone call an ambulance, my nervous system is shutting down from shock." Julian gently stepped right around Brenda, wrapping Clara in a warm embrace. Brenda lost her footing, slipped, and fell directly onto her backside into a pile of wet leaves, sobbing like a toddler. Julian looked down at Clara, completely tuning out the background drama. "I can't wait to see what we create next," he whispered, before kissing her cheek while the cameras flashed and the entire neighborhood clapped. To Brenda's absolute horror, Julian was assigned the lab desk right next to Clara in advanced chemistry. At first, they didn't talk. But during a difficult lab report, Julian was staring blankly at his beaker, looking totally defeated. Clara glanced over at his notebook and read his messy handwriting. The liquid is turning purple because the molecules are having a sad party. Julian buried his face in his hands. Clara chuckled softly, tapped his notebook, and said, "Hey, your chemistry vocabulary just needs a little fine-tuning. Let's solve it together." They spent the entire period laughing, balancing equations, and sharing notes. At one point, their hands brushed over the lab table. A sudden electric spark shot through the room, and they both froze, staring into each other's eyes. Slam. Brenda appeared out of nowhere, dropping a heavy textbook right between them. "Do you two want me to buy you a Vespa so you can ride through the streets of Rome together?" The teacher promptly gave Brenda a week of detention for disrupting lab safety. On the walk home, Brenda turned around dramatically and pointed at her clean jacket. "Do you see this, Clara? Do you see the weapon protruding from my spine, your backpack strap?" Clara asked. "No, it is a betrayal harpoon. You stabbed me in the back by flirting with my future husband. Tomorrow, you ask the teacher to move your lab station, or our friendship is over." Wanting to keep the peace, Clara stopped talking to Julian and moved her seat. To cope, she secretly filled her personal journal with beautiful, detailed watercolor portraits of Julian's side profile during chemistry class. A week later, Clara walked past the school library and saw Brenda cornering Julian against a bookshelf. Brenda aggressively shoved a handful of torn pages into his chest. "Look at these. I painted these masterpiece portraits of your soul because I am deeply, spiritually connected to you," Clara gasped from behind the bookshelf. Those were her stolen journal pages. Julian looked at the artwork, narrowed his eyes, and looked right past Brenda. "You did not paint this," Julian said coldly. "These lines are filled with genuine observation and warmth. This is Clara's style. I know her heart." Brenda shrieked in humiliation and ran out of the library.